Salute to you all. The brave never fall. This is a very interesting topic because this is one of the things in my life that I wish I had known at a very young age. And I wish I knew the influence it had on me and a lot of my decision making and some of the disappointments I had in my life, and feeling like it was always on me and feeling like I had no options when it came to basically wanting to do so many things and feeling like even at a young age, your life was coming to an end. And that's a weird feeling when you're very young and you haven't even hit your 40s yet, and you're feeling like there's no room to grow, that things are ending, and you start to doubt yourself and get down on yourself, and you start to feel all these feelings that we all know about, the ones that creep up when you just don't want them to, when they're just dragging you down, pulling at your ankles, trying to make you basically stand still. And I felt a lot of that had to do with other people's influence on my life. The people I knew I shouldn't be around. But you think things would change. You think either things will change or things will stay the same. And either way, you don't really have too much control over that. You can't get your mind to a place that's beyond where you are. And it takes time to learn how to do that. And it takes the right type of people around you to be able to do that. It takes you wanting more for yourself to be able to do that, to be able to see yourself not where you are, but where you want to be and where you should be. Where you should be and where you are and where you want to be, those are all different things. We know that. Where you want to be has nothing to do with where you should be. A lot of people want to be things that most likely they will never end up doing. Your true purpose will find its way into your heart and into your life when it's ready. You cannot force that. You can prepare yourself for anything, but you cannot foresee certain things, especially things that have anything to do with your purpose in life. That's why people labeling you can become very, very, very toxic. It can be something that is a darkness, that can be a weight, that can be that gorilla on your back. That proverbial gorilla on your back, shrouded in darkness, that has a giant umbrella, but instead of the rain being shielded from you, the umbrella is a dark cloud and it's raining all over you and you have no protection. You're in a storm. You can't see where you're going. You've lost your path. The people who you thought were going to help you get through the storm, they're leaving you. But not only are they leaving you, they're also making little comments. They're also judging you. They're not trying to motivate you. They're not trying to make you feel like you have somebody that is always going to be there for you. They're thinking about themselves. You have nothing really to offer them, and they know that. You're around because you're around. And they're labeling you. The question is, what are they labeling you with? This was always the thing that used to get under my skin when I was younger, when I didn't have the self-confidence that I have now, that we all go through when we're younger. When people start judging you, when you feel those eyeballs looking at you when you walk into a room or when you walk out of a room, are they laughing at me? You start going through the conversation, every line of dialogue. I should have said this like this. Why did I wear that today? I didn't know this person was going to be here today. I would have acted completely different. Do those sound like things that equal self-worth and self-love? Do those questions have anything to do with who you really are? No. Those questions are questions you're asking yourself that you believe other people are saying about you. Those are the labels that you're printing out of a label maker and sticking them all over your face. They're not real. You can type into that label maker whatever you want. When it comes out, you can do with that sticker whatever you want. It could be a positive message, it could be a neutral message, or it can be a negative message. What does your message say? If you had a label maker and you can type into it, and by the way, this is an exercise that I've done before. It's a little bit, kind of goes along with David Goggins. Again, if you don't know, David Goggins is the man that changed my life. And I will always put links in the description of material and content that I latched onto that changed my life to the man I am today. But he talks about the accountability mirror. And if you have not read the book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, I highly suggest that. He has challenges in the book that will help you. Very similar to what The Brave Never Fall does, but he's on another level when it comes to that mental side of it. The Brave Never Fall, we try to deal with posing questions for yourself, giving you an outlook about yourself so you can go answer your questions on your own, and giving you resources and directions to point you in. But ultimately, with The Brave Never Fall, it's called The Brave for a reason. You got to do this yourself. I just like to know that I'm not alone, and this channel is, and these podcasts are for you to know you're not alone. There are people out there going through exactly what you're going through. And what David Goggins talks about in the accountability mirror, I was doing something like that far before I ever even knew he was doing that, which is why I gravitated towards him, because some of his methods to mentally get over hurdles that were weighing him down were very similar to some of the things I was doing. And one of the things I used to do, I had a label maker. And I used the label maker when I was doing my exotic animal business, and I was labeling my animals. I had this label maker, and every once in a while, when I had a little bit left, I'm like, I got a little bit of room left here on this particular label sheet. I'm going to go ahead and use it up. I'm just going to type something out. And I would type out whatever I was thinking. It was just a weird little thing. And I had things in my exotic animal room that I would put these little words that I would label out, that I would print out from the label maker. And they would range from almost like fortune cookie stuff, but it'd be like one word: strong, brave, failure, disappointment, whatever I felt at the time. And I would take it and I would stick it all over my reptile room. I didn't put a date on it. I just stuck it somewhere. And over time, I started doing that, and I would drop off for a few months, and then I would come back to it. And I always wondered why I did that. And it wasn't because I was doing it in the moment. It was because I always wanted to be reminded of how I felt. And I started doing that in different ways. And then instead of doing that, I started taking selfies of myself when I was in extreme levels of emotion, extreme states of emotion. So if I had a day where I was just super happy and I couldn't even explain why I would take a selfie of myself. The days where I was in my darkest days and I felt like I couldn't stand up, I took a selfie of myself. I just wanted, and I cannot explain why I would do that until I go back and I look at the pictures and I check the date and I realize, wow, I had no idea in that moment I was that happy, or I was that tore down, or I was that content. Right in the middle. So what are labels? If you could label yourself, do you truly believe other people are doing it? The problem is, unfortunately, yes, they are. It's human nature. People have to label things. That's why when you go in the grocery store, every aisle has a label. You know what's going to be in that aisle when you go into it. Could you imagine going in the grocery store and never been in the grocery store before? You walk through the doors and the lights aren't even all the way on. They're dim. Because that's what it's like to know a person. You don't know everything about a person. So when you meet somebody, or you even have known somebody for 10 years, you're still learning a person, because that person is learning themselves. So the lights aren't all the way on. If the lights aren't all the way on for that person, quote unquote, how can they be on for you? They have to be dimmer for you. So imagine walking through a grocery store, a large one, and the lights are half dim, and you have a list of 10 things that you have to get, but everything is scrambled. You don't know where anything is. And you have a time limit. You have an hour to get 10 things, and you don't know how big they are, how small they are. You don't know where they're at. The lights are dim. And then to throw an extra challenge on it, you're going to have people following you, screaming in your ear, telling you suck, you're nobody, you're ugly, you're fat, you're skinny, you're black, you're white, you're gay, whatever you can think of. Everything that could label you and tear you down in this world, these people are going to be saying to you. Why are you trying to concentrate on getting the things done that you were tasked to do. Can you imagine the impact of that every single day of your life? We all can. Those people following you behind you are calling you those things because that's what they believe you are in their minds. They have determined in their mind that is all you are. What they can see. They have absolutely no idea what you're capable of doing. What you're thinking of in the moments where you are fully down. What you're capable of doing when you are super high. When life is great. Those people aren't around then, are they? When things are going great, people are fine. It doesn't seem like they're labeling you. Most people aren't going to walk up to you and say, I'm so happy, you're so happy. No, but they're very quick to tell you, did you see him or her? She looks down today. I bet this happened. Nobody says, hey, did you see him or her today? They look super happy today. I bet this happened. Think about the last time you saw two people say, guessing about somebody's happiness and how they got so happy. You won't hear that. If anything, they're going to ignore you because you're happy, because you're strong and you're confident and you believe in yourself and you have self-love and value and high standards and low stress. These people don't understand that. And let's take it one step further. What about the times when you want to push forward and be a better person, but everybody around you are content with themselves? They're going to label you again. Who do you think you are? We're not good enough for you? You think you're better than us? If you hear a bunch of kids screaming, I'm outside. Enough said. But the reality is, when you are dealing with a bunch of people who are behind you, in your ear, labeling you every single day, like these kids are out here screaming and yelling, it's basically the same deal. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop? You're going to throw your list down on the ground and throw your hands in the air and start saying to yourself, I can't do this. It's too much pressure. Or you're going to keep going forward. You're going to get all the items on the list in a timely manner because an hour doesn't seem like it's that long. But if you're determined and you're focused enough, that's more than enough time. Even if you can't, if the aisles aren't labeled and there's no labels on the products, in an hour you would find 10 things. But going into it, it seems like a daunting task, doesn't it? But we've missed the most important thing of this exercise. The most important thing is you entered the store. You made the choice to go in, regardless of the outcome. And that's where it all starts. That's where the labels start to go away. Because this is the thing. People make themselves feel better by labeling other people. It's much easier for somebody to accept who they are if they say, I can't do this, and neither can these other people, so I'm normal. Thumbs up. I don't have to try any harder because no one else around me is. That's why when the shining few, if you're listening to this, you are one of those shining few because you took the time to actually learn about this topic. That means there's something in you that drew you to this podcast. The shining few who actually aren't content with themselves and want to be better and want to grow their minds and be around people who add super high value to them, people who are going to make them truly happy and will label them, but in the correct way. Here's a label for you. You're strong. You're beautiful. You're wise and intelligent, compassionate, empathetic, relentless, goal setting, bar raising, inspiring, motivating, thriving. You are the type of person most people who are around you want to be. Believe me, if you're listening to this, most people who are labeling you are making them feel better by the labels they put upon you. That label they give you has more to do with them than it ever will with you. And if you don't believe that, then go get yourself a label maker and do exactly what I did. Use Post-it notes. use notebook paper, use whatever you need, index cards. Write down every day, as often as you can, how you feel about yourself, but use labels. And then see if that matches up with what the outside world perceives to be doing as far as labeling you. Because a lot of these people aren't going to tell you what they're labeling. Their actions will tell you how they're labeling you. Their actions will, more than their words. It is something that I wish I had known when I was younger. And I'm so happy I know it now at 40 years old, because I have the rest of my life knowing this, and it feels good. It's one of the most liberating feelings you could ever have when you finally realize that people who judge you and label you and try to fit you in a box that makes sense to them has nothing to do with you. It's only because they're trying to make themselves feel better about what they can't do. And there's something in you that draws them towards you enough to even want to label you, because I don't even think about it. I don't walk out the door every morning and decide, you know what, I'm going to have to label some people today. I'm going to label them all over the place. I got to make sure that I feel better about myself by making sure I'm looking at everyone and they all make sense to me in the context of my life. I'm not going to try to get to know these people. I'm just going to judge them. No. What you have to do is get up and look at other people who are doing what you would probably want to do, what you're aspiring to be. And instead of judging them, you start trying to figure out what it is about them that you're drawn to. The people who are judging you, they're drawn to you for a reason. They just never explore that reason. Or they know that reason and they resent you for it. They despise you for the fact you have the strength to do something they cannot do. And we're not talking about physical stuff here. We're talking about just simple drive and determination. How good of a person you are. How many people you help. How you speak to others. How you treat them. When you listen to other people. What kind of activities and ambitions do you have? What kind of hobbies do you have? How is your family life? Are you in love with someone and someone's jealous of you of that? It happens all the time. But that's not for you to figure out. Your job is to be you. You're too busy working on yourself to worry about labels. You're too busy working on yourself to worry about who's judging you. When people come at you and they're calling you all these names, they're bullying you with their actions. Sometimes they're bullying you with their non-actions because they're ignoring you and acting like you don't exist. When they're coming at you with all those labels you were born with, a lot of times and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't do anything about being overweight. You can work on it. You can get the pounds off, but that doesn't take back the pain, does it? Of being called fat. If you're a minority, you can be called all kind of racial slurs your whole life. It doesn't take it away. There's nothing you can do about your skin color. Not everybody can do a Michael Jackson turnaround and change themselves into a completely different person. Life doesn't work that way. We can't deal with our sexuality in the ways that we would like to. Life is life. We have to get through this ourselves. Nobody's going to come running through the darkness to help you. You have to start with helping yourself, and then you start adding pieces and people and places into your world that will free you from the point of view of thinking you're a victim of all these things, because you're not. If you can overcome anything, it's your mind, which means you're not a victim when you overcome your mind. Because your mind is telling you all these things. These people can say whatever they want about you. They can ignore you or they can bully you. It doesn't matter. Take them out of the equation. Just focus on you. If you're overweight and you want to do something about it, go do it. If you're a minority and someone's calling you racial slurs, there's things you can do about that too. Ignore them. Show them you don't care. Show them you're proud of who you are. It goes with anything in life. They're not you. Don't give people the satisfaction of knowing that their labeling of you is actually affecting you in a negative way. In fact, take it and turn it into a positive. Very easy to say, very hard to do. But just think about how you'll feel once you start getting on that journey to do so. Life will change. Your brain will start hardening up. Your heart will start understanding that what's important is not these ignorant people who don't care about you. What's important is that you put yourself on a path to get towards people who do care about you. Nothing lasts forever unless you want it to when it comes to things like this. You have a choice of who's in your life. People who label you don't need to be in your life. Low value people. This is your life. If no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.